Did you know that you could actually use your self-managed super fund or your retirement fund to go and purchase Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? In this video, I want to share with you a step-by-step tutorial as to how you can set up your self-managed super fund, but also how you go and create your account on CoinSpot. Now, at the end of the day, there are people that may agree with this view and may not agree with this view about putting super fund or your retirement fund into something like cryptocurrency, but that's not what we're here for. I'm here to discuss with you why I personally did this. I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. And at the end of the day, you can make your own decisions. If you're interested, keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi Sharma and welcome back to the channel Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. I talk about cryptocurrency, real estate, and financial freedom. And of course, drop me a like or a thumbs up for the video. If we want to share this out to more people on YouTube, then we're going to need to work with the YouTube algorithm. In this video, I want to break down my journey with my self-managed super fund and why I think it makes sense to be investing into cryptocurrency. Now, of course, none of it's financial advice and I'm not a licensed professional by any means, so you should definitely go and seek that, especially with your accountant when you're trying to set up your self-managed super fund. Now, I'm going to show you two parts to this. First part is to look at how do you set up your self-managed super fund, and then looking at how do we go in, and I'll share my screen with you about how to set up your account with CoinSpot as a self-managed super fund. Now, it's very important when you're dealing with your self-managed super fund or your retirement fund, it needs to be very separate because you get audited on that. And if you do something wrong, you are going to be penalized by the ATO. So it's about being very careful, and if you can be transparent and honest, you'll have nothing to worry about. So let's start off with my journey, right? In 2018, I've seen the market just go crazy. In 2017, I've watched it come down and I started buying up and I'm like,
okay, I want to know what cryptocurrency is.
Learn about it, and the prices kept falling down. So in about late 2018, I had basically had $23,000 in my super fund. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do here? What are my options? I want to invest this into something. I don't like ETFs and I don't like the share market. And I'll explain this in another video next week. But essentially, I was like, I need to be able to invest this money, otherwise it just sits there. And so I really had two options. One, buy property in my super fund, or invest in crypto. Now, because I was trying to get familiar with understanding what cryptocurrency was, Bitcoin and whatnot, in 2018, I decided to take the plunge and go and create a self-managed super fund. At the time, I had $23,000, and that is now worth about $140,000. So yes, the returns have been amazing, but I've had to hold during a time where there was such volatility. Cryptocurrency in general is very volatile because it's a new asset. People don't understand this. They think it's a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme, and you're gonna lose all your money, because they don't understand that volatility comes with any new market or new asset class. So for me, I understood the risks and I thought, you know what? I'm now planning about how in my personal name and under my personal account, how I'm creating assets to retire early. So for me, super funds and retirement funds wasn't really a concern. I didn't really look at that and go,
well, I'm going to use this money to effectively retire and live off when I'm 65.
Because that's still, over 30 years away. So for me, I thought, you know what, this is bonus money and it's a lot of money, right? But for me, I can't touch this for the next 30 years. So let's take a bit more risk with it. At the end of the day, I have a property portfolio. I have assets that I invest in on my personal sort of account. So my self-managed super fund, I don't really care about. So I went into something and I learned along in that process because I had money invested into it. So yes, that $23,000 at some point had gone to $8,000. And now we're at $140,000, which is amazing. So why would you want to be looking at cryptocurrency? Well, some of the reasons are exactly what I said. Some of you guys are young and you're looking at, well, I can just put it in and it sort of just rotates and does its thing. I'm not going to touch it for 30 years. But what I'm prompting people to do is stop relying on your super fund or Centrelink or, the government to pay you something as part of your pension. Take ownership and start doing things yourself. So in your personal sort of account, you should be looking at getting into productive assets. And that could be real estate, crypto, whatever it is. But you start building out that to then be self-retired earlier with choice. So then your super fund almost becomes a bonus play. And so that's how I've sort of set it up. And I know a lot of people have been trying to get exposure to cryptocurrency but don't have cash available. So then they're looking at, hey Ravi, how do I set up a self-managed super fund? I want to do it and I want to learn about it. I'm going to create this tutorial. None of it's financial advice. You should definitely go and check and see with your accountant what works for you, because with having a self-managed super fund, the risk and the costs associated with it are a lot higher as well. But for me, it just made sense. It worked for me and I was happy paying because I knew what the sort of returns would be like. And moving forward, I'm not going to change that. So before we jump into me me sharing my screen about CoinSpot and how to set it all up, I want to break down to you the step-by-step process of going from having an industry super fund that may be linked with your job at the moment to go from there to then having a self-managed super fund where you then have the choice to do whatever you like. So step one is to speak to your accountant and have them set it up. It's an easy process for them. They'll ask you a few questions, and I think it comes down to what your plan is. So I definitely suggest that go in with a plan when you talk to your accountant, but they start the paperwork first because they need to set up the actual structure of a self-managed super fund. So that could be like a trust, could be a company trust and whatnot. So definitely go have a chat with them, but that's step one. Step two is then you'll be asked to speak to the ATO directly to verify details. Now for the ATO, obviously there's been a huge clampdown and more auditing around self-managed super funds because a lot of people took out money and then they used it for alcohol and going out. And so now they're really trying to clamp down. When people go self-managed super fund, I want you to realize you know what you're doing. And so it's such a transparent space where if you get muddy and you have a bit of a gray area, you will get screwed over significantly. So do not make any sort of wacky transactions or try and hide things. At the end of the day, if you don't have anything to hide, you will be fine. So step two is you will speak to the ATO, they'll give you a call, and then you're verifying exactly what it takes to have a self-managed super fund. When do you have to do the audits? How do you do tax returns and things like that? Step three is setting up the bank account. So this is a pretty easy process. It's just like going and opening up a new bank account. What you'll need at that point is obviously your trust deed. You'll need the documentations that your accountant gets you. So once you've got that, you verify details with the ATO, you then come across to the bank and say, look, whether it's CBA or whatever bank you work with, and you go, okay, cool. Hi, I'm trying to open up an account, a self-managed super fund. That process takes time. They require details. You've got to go into the branch and you do all that stuff. Once that is done, we get to step four, which is now verification for your CoinSpot account. Now, this is going to be a different account to what your existing account is currently. So I've got a link in the description below where you can simply sign up and get $10 free Bitcoin in that account. But this account has to be separate from your personal account. So if you're trading and you've got your personal account, you can't simply plug in your self-managed super fund into there, you will get screwed over. So you need a separate one. So it's like registering all over again. So it's very similar to how you set up your first account, and I'm going to show you exactly how, but there's one difference that's key in this. Now, once you've got the CoinSpot account verified, and now you can go in and deposit that money. Now, it's very similar to exactly how you do it in your personal account. Your bank goes through and then they just transfer the funds across into CoinSpot. Once the funds are in there, you're in step six, which is now the fun part, which is basically buying and investing into the coins that you want to. Now, we're going to jump into a screen share of exactly how and why you want to choose CoinSpot in order to do this. So here we are on CoinSpot, where you can buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrency with your self-managed super fund. And here are some benefits of using CoinSpot to manage your self-managed super fund. Now, this is where I do my trading as well for my self-managed super fund. Now, you've got the friendly and local supports team, and they're very helpful, very easy to deal with. You also have that choice, similar to your personal account, 290 different cryptocurrencies. It's one of the most extensive in Australia. And it's very easy to manage your tax and audit obligations. And this is very important to know because when you want to get to tax time, you want to verify everything so there's no mistakes. You also have this read-only API interface for accountants and fund managers to track your portfolio, so you can allow them access to that. It makes it super easy for you if you want to do that. You also have over-the-counter services, so this is for if you have a large amount that you want to trade, and then you can trade asset to asset as well, just like you do in your personal account. So when you go through and we look at exactly what step-by-step we need to do, you can easily access all this information through this video, so you can pause it, go through it again. But also at the bottom of the page, there should be a tab that says Self-Managed Super Fund, and you find all these details there. But essentially, we want to register our account first, exactly how I said with the step-by-step, and then you need to submit some documentation. So this documentation is very similar to what you need to provide to your bank account, your bank branch as well. So what this would include is a registered trust name, a trust address, your trust ABN, a copy of the trust deed, and trust beneficiary details. Now, all of this stuff is something that you will speak to your accountant about first. So don't be alarmed by what this means. If you don't know what it means, it's okay. You'll speak to your accountant. Once you have done that, you then will deposit the funds and start investing into crypto. Once you start doing that, you have access to all of those cryptocurrency. Now, it's important as well. You want to stay up to date. There's an ATO link straight there. And this is where you just want to keep in mind what your obligations are. Just be very careful around what you do. For me, I'm a big advocate for displaying everything and being very transparent with ATO because it's tax you're paying on capital gain or profits that you've made. So it's a good position to be in. I know a lot of people try and get shady and they try and avoid it. I don't think it's a good, smart move, but it's up to you how you want to do it. And you can go directly through here to a link, and that just gives you some more information. Once we come through here, there's a few, frequently asked questions. Why set up your self-managed super fund? So CoinSpot is the easiest place to manage your self-managed super fund cryptocurrency portfolio. Its offering provides industry-leading compliance and security and customer service. Our specialist team is available to provide you with seamless onboarding experience through to ongoing account management. This for me was really big, especially when I'm dealing with self-managed super fund. I don't want to muck around with it. I went with these guys and I've stuck with them, and I will continue sticking with them. How I set up my self-managed account, we've already covered this through those steps that I've mentioned earlier before. If you want to go back to that, just rewind this video and pause. And are the funds safe on CoinSpot? At CoinSpot, protection of customer assets is our highest priority. We maintain industry best practice offline storage protocols, achieved internationally recognized ISO 27001 certification in information security, and provide account level security customization. For more information, you can go directly through here with security recommendations. So as you can see, it's a fairly easy setup from when you go and get things set up with the accountant, getting a trust and all that set up for your self-managed super fund. But the process from end to end could actually take up to about 2 months. Now, it's not just about setting these things up. There's also a process where those funds need to get rolled over into your new account for your self-managed super fund. Now, I found that this process is the longest part because a letter needs to get sent by your accountant to the industry super fund where you are, and then use that, and then they deploy those funds and they roll over into your new account. So this process does take time, and in my personal opinion, it's completely worth it. If you are looking at taking more ownership of your super fund and going, I want to invest in riskier assets or more volatile assets, well, then I have the choice of going down and buying crypto. For me, the way that I thought about it was, if crypto works out, this is amazing. I make the gains that I want to make. I can then use that, sell some of my positions, use that as a deposit to start building my property portfolio in my self-managed super fund. We as a buyer's agency help clients with not only purchasing under their personal account, whether it's a company, trust, or under their personal name, we also do that for self-managed super funds. So if you're interested, book in a strategy session down below. If you want to get started with CoinSpot, you don't need to just do it with your self-managed super fund. You can also do it under your personal name. And what an exciting time to be in crypto. So if you are interested, link in the description below. Use my code and you'll get $10 free Bitcoin. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.